Hi everybody, I'm Alexandra and I'm going to show you how to use a shared Google slide deck with your reading group. So Google Slides is a super easy tool to use whether you want to do a presentation or you want to have it shared so that everybody can edit it. I had never used it as a shared feature until Surge, and now I am a high school teacher and I use it with my kids all the time and they love it. It's just super, super simple and is a super interactive way to get people kind of sharing their ideas out and also to use both images and things like tables that might be kind of complicated to share in a different way. So you're just going to open up a slide deck, and the way that you would do that, you would go to your Google Drive, so drive.google.com, and just click New, and then you're going to select slides. There's tons of other tools in Google that are awesome, and I'm sure there's amazing ways to use them for reading groups. I really only explored the slides so far and some shared documents, but today we're going to focus on the slides. So I actually already created my example deck, so we'll work from that. So one way that you could use a Google Slides is doing some sort of table that has a reflection, especially if you have people that are a little more like hesitant to talk, or you're trying to balance out people that are more prone to talk and people that are a little shyer to start. This might be a really good way to start a discussion and just get everybody's immediate thoughts out so that everybody has shared by the time you start. I've also been in groups where we just start out the group by sharing a quote or an idea that stood out to us, and that is a way that we start our discussion. So you could do that with, for example, a table. I do this with my students, and you could just put people's names in here, and then you could preload that, or it would help if I could spell things. You could preload everybody's names or have them just sign in, and then they can put in whatever questions you wanted. And of course, you don't need to put in all of those prompts, but as many as you want. Another way you could do this that you might have seen us do, you probably saw us do, during our facilitator training is having people add stickies to a slide that has a question or prompt on it. So you might already just open up a slide that has a title on it. And just a reminder, if you need it, you can change the format of your slide up here to the top left. So I just did a slide with the title, and then you can just drop in some little sticky notes to the side that people drag in and type on. I do find that this is a little bit easier than just telling people to make a text box. Depending on people's experience with technology, that can be a little bit confusing, and then people are kind of writing all over each other. So having the sticky preloaded into the side just makes it a little more smooth for everybody. And this is nothing fancy. All that I did was I created a shape. So I went, click shape, clicked a square, made my little square, whatever size you want it to be, and your participants can go in and resize it if they need more room, whatever color you want it to be. And I just copied it and pasted it a bunch of times and then moved all of them over to the side. So now, and obviously I didn't get all of them. So now those just kind of live at the side, and then whenever my participants come in and are ready to edit it, they will be there for them. Another thing that I've seen somebody do in our planning group that I thought was really cool was incorporate some symbols. So I do weather check-ins with my kids a lot, so I just put in a couple symbols, so maybe how you felt about something. Symbols are great for that, and they might just drag in the symbol that they really felt like, and that's just a really easy way to get a kind of check-in from people to see maybe just a check-in on like how are you feeling today, but also checks for understanding, checks how they like felt about a reading or a topic. And I'm sure you can come up with lots of other creative ways to use your symbols. And to insert those, again, awesome with Google Suite is that Google is just right in here. So I would go insert and then find image. And I'm just gonna click search from the web or search the web. So I don't have to pre-save any images. I can just type right here and I'm just gonna click the thing that I wanna look for. And of course that is a person. And then I'm just gonna click an image that I want to insert. And just like I did for my sticky notes, I could just copy it and paste it and bring a whole group of them over to the side. And you can resize them as much as you need, and your participants will be able to change that however they need as well. So that is basically how I use Google Slides. As you can see, my slides are super, super simple. I know that lots of us can make really beautiful presentations, but I would recommend keeping these slides simple because it's just less stuff that people can move around. And as you might be able to imagine, these get really messy really fast, in a good way, because everybody's adding their ideas in. So you don't want too many design elements getting in the way of that. The other important thing for how to use this is, of course, how you share it. So that's going to be super important. You can see right now mine is shared only private to me. So before I send that out to my group, I'm going to want to click share and make sure that anyone will be able to see it. So there are two ways you can do this, especially if you're more concerned about privacy. You might choose to just type in the emails of everybody in your group, and you can do that right up here at the top. So then they would be a collaborator and can come in and look at it. I typically just do a link. I have never had an issue with somebody that wasn't supposed to be on my content being on my content. That said, it can happen, so just use caution. But links are pretty safe, and you can always change the settings later if you decide that that's not going to work. So I'm just going to change it so that I drop down. Anyone with the link can edit. The default will be view. They won't be able to interact with it if it's only view. I need to make sure that it's editing. So now they'll be able to use all those awesome tools. So to actually share it, you could just click share, copy link, and now whenever I send out my email inviting people to our meeting, or if I'm in my meeting, I could just drop the link into the chat or send it to them ahead of time so that they have all of the information available. So that is how you use Google Slides. Have so much fun with it.